I'm Kyle here from Dash Fight for EVO 2022, joined with one of the faces of Twitch, someone I had never met before, Alex Jebailey, aka Jebailey. How are you doing, my friend?
My voice is gone per usual, but always good, man. My 10th EVO, 10th or 11th, and always have the time of my life.
Yeah, I love the energy. Like, I gotta get to the questions, but feeling the crowd, that's why we do it, right? Fuck me. As the founder and CEO, right, when you go to other major tournaments, do you notice, look around for things you could steal, utilize, adapt to make your own events better?
I've already put together my complaint list. It's not very many this year, which is awesome. But yeah, you know, EVO's one of the first major fighting game events I went to, and it was a big inspiration for CEO. And for me, every time I come as a competitor. And if Rick or the team needs my help, I'm there to stand in and just wherever's needed, because people always come to me at every event for advice or help. And you know, it's not the end of the year for me, right? It used to be like once EVO's done, we all go on a break. But with fighting games so big now, it's like a reset for me mentally, and I get excited again and doing what I do. So a lot of ideas I do here, a lot of ideas CEO has done over the years has appeared at other events. But now we're more connected than ever with all the other TOs to improve all of our events together and go to another event and say, hey, this could have been better. Like, oh, we already know. Like every time a good TO has an event, we know all the complaints before the event's even over. And we're already thinking about the next year. So every time I talk to Rick or somebody in charge, they're like, yeah, you're the 15th person to tell us this. I'm like, yeah, so you already know. So, but it's not about that, you know, it's about having as much fun as possible. And a good staff will make sure that the attendees don't know what's wrong. And that's our secret, Cap, is never letting it out what happens behind the scenes to put this together. And it's an inspiration across the board, and we all help each other where we can.
Yeah, as somebody who's been behind the scenes before as well, there's always so many fires nobody else knows about.
Yeah. There's stories for days from my own events, man. I'm going to write a book when I quit, so.
I'm sure I'd
die first. Yeah.
Esports is a killer. Yeah. EVO's finally back offline after a 2-year break. CEO was one of the first events to come back after the pandemic.
I've had 2 since. Yeah. I've had 3 actually, yeah.
Were there any unique challenges for you as an organizer, rebounding from the pandemic, having to deal with COVID and the new expectations, safety restrictions, etc.?
Inflation first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
Having to bounce back and everyone not understanding that, hey, it's still going to make as much money as it did pre-COVID. Let's charge them the same rates. You know, little things like that we got to think about. Obviously, the rules with masks and being in Florida is a challenge, right? It's been ahead of the rest of the world for like a year with all the bullshit down there. But you know, just different set of rules, man. And if you're a good organizer and you have a good team, you prepare for it and you're ready to go. And you know, in December we had the first event back, and that was the last event when Disney World shut down and it all went to crazy. So I have more experience than anyone already with multiple events through the pandemic, through DreamHack, CEO, and it's more of the same, just the costs have gone up. The contracts have gone up. You know, a lot of that stuff is, it's a bigger challenge than ever. Yeah. But especially EVO being the biggest one and all the companies seeing that this was a success, we're going to be back bigger than ever, I think, next year.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
Become Dash Fight's supporter on Patreon and get a chance to win a coaching session with a pro player. Click the link in the description.
So, Multiversus here, clearly a hype machine.
Right.
From your unique perspective, do you think that's something that's going to last? Is it different from other titles that have debuted at EVO? And other than Multiversus, is there any title that you think is going to have a rebound or some explosion in the years to come?
That's a great question. I was actually working with the Multiversus team to have it at CEO last year. Things didn't work out, can't say why, but you know, been excited about that game. I was in the early beta tests. I think it's great. You know, what Smash has created over the years, what Brawlhalla has created on a pro sports level, I think they're trying to mimic that. Me personally, it has to go to a console. There's a lot of logistics behind the scenes with running multiple keyboards and all that. I think it's going to be great with the WB backing. They really want to push big. I know the team behind it. They're going to do everything they can. Anime games, man. My next event, CEOtaku. It's already surpassed our 2019 numbers because of anime games. So across the board, it's just going to be huge. But what happens is when Street Fighter puts out a new Street Fighter, if they do a good job, that's what blows everything out of the water. But now there's other, Strive is bigger than Street Fighter this year. We would never imagine that 5 years ago. So as an organizer, I support what the community support, and I have so many still options, which makes me happy, makes me comfortable that I can still put on these events, knowing that they're just gonna keep churning out fighting games and how big they are, so. Yeah, me personally, Street Fighter is my next excited game to be about. Multiversus, once they nerfed Taz right away, I gave up. I went 0-2 because I DQ'd myself because I was in another turn at the same time, so I've already retired as a competitive Multiversus player.
Man, we're washed now. I know the feeling.
I'm the best interview, I know.
I like it. I guess last question then. What advice would you give somebody trying to host their own local for the first time? Somebody really trying to break into the FGC, get back into the community, get an event going, maybe build themselves up to be able to put on something like this?
You know, I think I was one of the pioneers of being transparent with the early CEOs, letting people know I'm a player first. Yeah. This is how I'm going to do it, and that's what kind of grew CEO as fast as it did over the years. And now I, work multiple jobs. And over the years, I've had people come in with money, go, "Hey, we want to do our first big event." I'm like, it doesn't work like that. It took me years, a decade of small events to get to where I am today. And the best advice I can is communicate, transparency, have fun, man. If you create a safe, fun environment for your players that they enjoy just playing, it blows up from there. And if you can accomplish that, but now things have changed over COVID. Content creation is key. I dabble in it with my YouTube. I get like 20,000 views, and then it takes me 6 weeks before I have free time to do another video. So if you can be consistent and put that kind of work and make it a hobby, it'll only help grow your product and your fandom, and you'll appreciate more of the hard work that goes into making everything look pretty on TV channels and movies and all that when you learn that kind of thing. And just talk to the right people, communicate. You have to put yourself out there. I wouldn't be where I am today if I wasn't annoying as shit to everybody. Shameless self-promoter, but now look where I'm at, right? And have fun with it. Play every game you host. If you don't play at least an hour of a new game, you're not going to appreciate why people play it. So that's the best advice I can give. And just have fun with it, man. We're running video game tournaments. If you're not having fun, get the hell out of this industry. Because the fun turns into profits, and passion will take you so far.
Got it. Well, thank you very much.
Of course.
Do you have any final words for the community at home, for any EVO fans, anybody tuning in?
This has been the best EVO, I think, in terms of comfort levels and everyone being a family again. And you saw the first timers are what the CEO this year had 60% first time attendees. When that crowd started, that looked like a good 55 to 70% first timers. And over the COVID, it's a new transition of generation, right? The top players are going to make more money staying at home doing YouTube, while the new players are going to be hungrier than ever. But just CEOtaku, CEO, I look forward to every EVO. Rick, general manager here, is one of my best friends, and I'm excited that the opportunities he gets to make this an even better event with the team that is allowing him to do so. So changing in the guard, me and him 10 years ago, like one day we're going to be running EVO in every event, and now I run all the DreamHack ESL, he runs EVO, and I have CEO and so it's just amazing. So, but otherwise, love fighting games, man. They're the most passionate community out there, and you know where to find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, man. Love the passion. It reflects in the scene that you've built. It's Dash Fight here at EVO 22. Alex Jebailey, thanks for your time. We'll see you again soon.